Imagine closing your eyes and stepping softly into a world long before ours, a world where rivers carved the land into fertile crescents and the first cities slowly rose from the earth. This is Sumer, a land nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates, where human imagination and determination began to shape civilization itself. The air here is filled with a gentle murmur of flowing water, the distant chatter of market-goers, and the rhythmic pounding of hands shaping clay into the very first tablets of written memory. Hey, in this cradle of humanity, the seeds of knowledge were planted, seeds that would grow into inventions and ideas that echo quietly into the present day. Life in Sumer was intimate, tied closely to the cycles of the sun and the rivers that nourished the soil. The people awoke each day with purpose, their eyes catching the soft glow of the morning sun over mud-brick homes, the delicate scent of wet earth after the irrigation channels had been opened. Each family tended small plots of land, while the larger communities labored together to construct canals, dikes, and temples. These were not just buildings of stone and clay. They were vessels of human ambition, dreams given tangible form. The city of Ur, with its bustling streets, hums with the energy of creativity, yet the sound is never harsh. It is a gentle symphony of human life moving in harmony with nature. It is here that the first sparks of invention flickered. The Sumerians, though simple in their daily needs, were extraordinary in their minds. They noticed patterns in the stars above, counted the ripples of the river, and wondered how symbols could carry thought across time and space. The very act of observing and recording, of seeking understanding, transformed this land into a workshop of civilization. Every tool, every mark in clay, every carefully measured canal is a testament to their quiet brilliance. The rhythm of life was slow, almost meditative. Children played near the water, their laughter blending with the soft rustle of reeds and the distant lowing of cattle. Women ground grain into flour, their hands moving in repeated, graceful patterns, while men shaped clay into pottery or carved soft stone with care. The pace allowed thoughts to linger, giving the Sumerians a space to invent, to dream, and to record those dreams for others to follow. In this sense, Sumer was not just a land of labor and survival. It was a sanctuary for human imagination, a place where ideas could take root and flourish. As you drift deeper into this ancient world, imagine walking along the winding streets at twilight. Torches cast long, flickering shadows on the mud-brick walls, while the smell of baked bread and incense mingles in the air. Priests move slowly toward the ziggurat, their chants rising softly into the fading light, connecting earth and sky, the mortal and the divine. You can almost hear the distant strumming of a lyre, the low hum of a communal song that has been sung for generations. It is a sound of continuity, a rhythm that will eventually pulse through all of human history, echoing far beyond the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates. And within this gentle, humming world, 9 creations quietly took shape, though the people of Sumer would not have called them monumental. To them, they were simply part of life, writing to remember, the wheel to ease burden, irrigation to nurture crops, plows to till the land, mathematics to measure, calendars to follow the heavens, law codes to guide, stories to inspire, and monumental buildings to honor the divine. Each of these began as a small thought, a simple solution to a daily challenge, yet they would grow to influence the entire course of human civilization. As night falls, imagine the sky turning deep indigo, stars beginning to pierce the darkness like tiny lanterns suspended in the heavens. The gentle flow of the rivers mirrors a movement of the cosmos above, a quiet reflection of human ingenuity and the natural world intertwined. The cities grow silent, and the Sumerians rest, their minds full of dreams, their hands ready to build anew when dawn arrives. The world they shaped was not loud or chaotic. It was patient, deliberate, and enduring, much like the calm, meditative state you are now entering. In this moment, you are already walking among them, observing, listening, and breathing with the rhythm of life as it was thousands of years ago. The story of Sumer is not just about inventions or achievements. It is about the quiet perseverance of human thought, the gentle unfolding of creativity, and the first whispers of civilization reaching toward the future. And as you continue this journey, you will meet the 9 creations that changed the world, seeing them not as distant relics, but as companions in this calm, timeless landscape, guiding you softly through history as sleep begins to draw near. Step quietly into the heart of Sumer, and let your mind wander along the winding path that lead between the first great cities of humanity. Imagine your Uruk and Eridu rising gently from the flat, fertile plains, their mud-brick walls catching the soft glow of the morning sun. The air is rich with the scent of damp earth, baked clay, and the faint sweetness of date palms swaying in the breeze. Life here is both simple and extraordinary, an intricate tapestry of human labor, creativity, and quiet ingenuity, woven with the steady threads of daily routine and the flowing rhythm of nature. The rivers, Tigris and Euphrates, are the lifeblood of Sumer, carving their way through the land with patience and persistence. Their waters glimmer under the rising sun, reflecting the hazy silhouettes of small boats gliding silently across the surface. Farmers stand along the banks, their hands submerged in water, guiding it carefully into narrow channels that snake through the fields. Each canal, each sluice, is a subtle triumph over nature, a gentle negotiation between human will and the currents of life. The crops respond, bending and swaying in a quiet chorus, and the people watch with satisfaction as a green field shimmer under the golden light. The streets of the cities themselves are calm yet alive with movement. Merchants with their carts along the narrow lanes, filled with clay jars, woven baskets, and fresh produce. The clatter of pottery and the soft creak of cart wheels blend with the distant bleating of sheep and the murmur of voices trading news and goods. Children chase each other through the alleys, their laughter carried by the wind, while elders sit beneath the shade of date palms, watching, sharing stories, and remembering the days before the cities stood tall. Each sound, each motion, contributes to a rhythm that is both dynamic and soothing, a gentle heartbeat of human civilization. The homes are humble, built of sun-baked mud bricks, each one carefully aligned to the next, forming labyrinthine neighborhoods that echo the organized mind of their builders. Smoke drifts lazily from small hearths, carrying the aroma of bread and stew simmering slowly over the fire. Inside, families gather in quiet intimacy, children learning from parents, artisans practicing their crafts, and everyone participating in a subtle dance of communal life. There is no rush, no loud clamor of urgency, only the steady, deliberate flow of living, building, and creating together. Above the city, the ziggurats rise like gentle mountains of brick and clay, their step terraces reaching toward the heavens. Priests move slowly up the stairways, carrying offerings and chanting soft hymns, their voices blending with the ambient sounds of the city below. From here, you can see the entire landscape of Sumer stretched out in soft waves of green and gold, the rivers curving like silver ribbons through fields, villages, and temples. This connection between the earthly and the divine, between human endeavor and natural beauty, fills the air with a sense of quiet wonder, a feeling that life itself is a creation to be nurtured and celebrated. Sumerians live in harmony with the cycles of nature. Their days are marked by the rising and setting of the sun, the changing tides of the rivers, and the quiet movement of stars across the night sky. Farmers tend their fields according to the season, craftsmen work when light allows, and priests observe celestial patterns, calculating the passage of time and guiding the community with gentle wisdom. Even in the smallest details, the way a pot is shaped, the carving of a stone tablet, or the layout of a canal, there is an underlying mindfulness, a recognition that every act contributes to the larger rhythm of life. And yet, this world is also one of quiet experimentation and subtle innovation. The people of Sumer observe patterns, notice connections, and adapt. A farmer discovers a better way to channel water. A craftsman learns to mold clay more efficiently. A scribe experiments with symbols to capture speech. These small discoveries accumulate, shaping the culture of Sumer not through sudden, loud inventions, but through patient, careful observation and thoughtful action. In this way, the ordinary and the extraordinary are intertwined, the daily life of a farmer or artisan seamlessly giving rise to the ideas that will one day change the world. As the evening falls, imagine the soft hues of the sky reflected in the winding rivers, the sounds of the city slowing into a gentle lull. Families light small fires, children nestle close to their parents, and the streets grow quieter, leaving only the whisper of water and the occasional call of a night bird. The city rests, yet there is a quiet anticipation in the air, a promise that tomorrow the people of Sumer will awaken once more to labor, create, and imagine, continuing the timeless cycle that has nurtured the first seeds of civilization. In this tranquil, living landscape, every aspect of daily life is interconnected with the innovations that will define humanity's journey. The rivers, the fields, the homes, the temples, and the people themselves are all part of a grand, quiet symphony. And as you move gently through this world, you begin to sense the pulse of creativity, the subtle sparks that will ignite 9 great creations, shaping the course of history in ways both profound and enduring. In the quiet heart of Sumer, among the gently flowing rivers and the bustling yet serene streets of Ur and Uruk, a remarkable transformation was quietly taking shape. It began not with grand monuments or loud proclamations, but with a simple need to remember. The people of Sumer, attentive and thoughtful, realized that words spoken aloud could easily be forgotten. Stories, transactions, prayers, and the knowledge of the day would fade if not preserved. And so, from the soft, pliable clay of the riverbanks, they began to record the world around them, leaving traces that would ripple across time and echo into our modern lives. Imagine a scribe at work, seated cross-legged on a woven mat, a smooth reed stylus held delicately between their fingers. Before them lies a small, flattened tablet of wet clay, warm from the sun. With gentle, purposeful strokes, the scribe presses the stylus into the surface, leaving wedge-shaped impressions. These impressions form symbols, first representing simple objects, grains of barley, or the number of cattle in a herd, and later evolving to express more complex ideas. Each mark is an echo of thought, a bridge between fleeting speech and enduring memory. This system, known as cuneiform, was unlike anything that had come before. It was intricate, yet elegant in its simplicity, a method that allowed the Sumerians to communicate across distances, through time, and between generations. Farmers could record harvests and trade goods, priests could inscribe sacred hymns and rituals, and rulers could issue decrees with clarity and authority. The act of writing transformed daily life, giving structure and permanence to a world that was otherwise transient, governed by the rhythms of sun, river, and season. The process itself was meditative, almost ceremonial. The scribe's hands moved with care, pressing each wedge-shaped mark with intention, ensuring that the message was clear and lasting. The clay, soft and malleable, seemed to respond almost like a willing partner in this dance of communication. When the tablet was finished, it might be sun-dried or baked in a small kiln, turning it from a simple piece of clay into a durable record, capable of surviving the passage of centuries. One can imagine the quiet pride of the scribe, holding the tablet and feeling the weight of knowledge preserved, ready to be passed to the future. Over time, writing evolved from recording numbers and goods into capturing stories, emotions, and ideas. The Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's first great literary works, was born from these modest beginnings. Through cuneiform, the adventures of a king and his companion, the reflections on mortality, friendship, and the search for meaning, were inscribed on clay, allowing generations to ponder, to learn, and to dream. Writing became not only a tool of administration, but a vessel for imagination and reflection, bridging the practical and the poetic in a single, quiet innovation. It is fascinating to imagine the ripple effect of such a simple act, pressing a reed into clay to form shapes, yet shaping the destiny of civilization itself. Written words allowed Sumerians to create contracts, codify laws, and keep meticulous records of trade. They enabled cities to flourish, commerce to expand, and knowledge to accumulate. A farmer counting her sheep could do so with precision, a merchant tracking grain could plan for the months ahead, and a community could function with a clarity and organization previously unimaginable. Writing made thought tangible and shared, turning personal knowledge into a collective treasure. The beauty of this invention is not only in its utility but also in its quiet resilience. Unlike spoken words that vanish into the air, the impressions left on clay endure. Thousands of years later, archaeologists unearthed these tablets, gently brushing away the dust of centuries, revealing the thoughts, dreams, and daily life of a people long gone. Each mark is a whisper from the past, a soft echo inviting us to sit beside a Sumerian scribe, to feel the cool clay under our fingers, and to sense the intimacy of a civilization learning to remember itself. Writing also transformed perception and cognition. To express abstract ideas on a tablet required a new way of thinking, a shift in the mind from the immediate and transient to the considered and permanent. It encouraged reflection, planning, and the sharing of wisdom. Children learned to recognize symbols and patterns, their young minds stretching to grasp the logic of communication beyond the spoken word. Society itself became more structured, more coherent, as people could rely on written agreements, historical records, and preserved knowledge to guide decisions and actions. Consider 2. The quiet patience as innovation demanded. There were no shortcuts, no instant messages. Each message required deliberate attention, each tablet a labor of care. In this slow, reflective process, the Sumerians cultivated a sense of mindfulness, of respect for the permanence of thought, and the importance of leaving something meaningful for those who would follow. It was a rhythm of life, harmonizing with the slow, steady pulse of the rivers and the daily routines of the city. And so, the invention of writing was more than an invention. It was a transformation of existence itself. From the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates, cuneiform emerged as a quiet revolution, one that allowed knowledge to survive the passage of time, one that let human thought reach beyond the limitations of memory. Through these small impressions in clay, Sumerians built a bridge to the future, ensuring that the ideas, stories, and discoveries of their lives could continue to inspire, to teach, and to calm even millennia later. As night falls over the city, imagine the scribe placing the finished tablet aside, their work done for the day. The streets are hushed, the rivers shimmer under the soft glow of the moon, and the ziggurats cast long, comforting shadows over the mud brick homes. Knowledge rests safely in clay, and the world seems a little larger, a little more enduring. In this gentle, reflective silence, we begin to sense how one simple act, the pressing of a reed into clay, can quietly reshape the world, carrying Sumerian thought into every corner of history and leaving us with a legacy both profound and peaceful, perfect for drifting into dreams. In the gentle plains of Sumer, where the rivers wind lazily through fertile fields and the cities rise softly from the earth, a quiet revolution was taking shape, one that would change the rhythm of human life in ways both subtle and profound. It did not arrive with fanfare or ceremony, but as a simple, practical solution to the challenges of daily living. This was the wheel, a modest yet extraordinary invention that would carry people, goods, and ideas across the landscape, and eventually across the entire world. Imagine a craftsman sitting by the riverbank, observing the logs and clay of his environment. He notices how round objects roll with ease, how heavy load can be moved more smoothly over curved surfaces, and a thought forms, a simple, elegant idea. If a platform could be made to spin, it could bear weight and travel further with less effort. From this observation, the first wheel was born, not as a symbol of power, but as a quiet testament to human curiosity and ingenuity. At first, the wheel was likely used in pottery. Sumerian potters discovered that a spinning surface made shaping clay into bowls, jars, and intricate vessels far more efficient. The wheel turned slowly, steadily, guided by careful hands, producing smooth, symmetrical shapes that delighted both the maker and those who would use the vessels. In this calm, deliberate act of creation, the wheel became a companion to human skill, enhancing craftsmanship and allowing ideas to take form with ease and elegance. But the potential of the wheel extended far beyond pottery. Soon, Sumerians adapted it for transport, attaching wooden discs to axles and mounting them on carts. Imagine a small village road, thus rising softly from the movement of wheels, as carts laden with grain, pottery, or goods glide across the flat plains. Travel becomes smoother, burdens lighter, and trade begins to flourish. Communities once separated by distance are now connected, exchanging not only goods but stories, ideas, and culture. The wheel quietly bridges human lives, reducing isolation and nurturing interconnection. The wheel also transformed labor. Farmers could carry heavier load with less effort. Builders could transport stone and mud bricks to construct homes and temples, and merchants could move their wares across the city and beyond. The rhythm of daily life changed subtly, as work that once demanded extraordinary strength could now be accomplished with the assistance of a turning circle of wood and ingenuity. There is a calm satisfaction in imagining the soft, steady motion of a loaded cart rolling across a sunlit plain, a simple mechanism amplifying human effort in harmony with nature. As the wheel spread, it became a symbol not of domination, but of possibility. Sumerians began to refine their designs, experimenting with different sizes, weights, and materials. Some wheels were small and delicate, crafted for intricate pottery, while others were large and robust, carrying harvests or entire families on journeys between towns. Each improvement was subtle, careful, the result of observation, patience, and a willingness to adapt to the needs of daily life. The wheel, in its quiet elegance, exemplified the Sumerian mindset, practical, thoughtful, and deeply attuned to the rhythms of the world. Imagine standing at the edge of a busy market street the sun casting long shadows across the mud brick walls. A cart glides by, its wooden wheels turning smoothly over packed earth. A farmer sits atop the cart, steering gently with ropes tied to oxen, while baskets of dates and grain balance precariously yet securely. The sound of the rolling wheels blends with the chatter of merchants and the soft bleating of animals, creating a gentle symphony of motion and life. Each turn of the wheel carries not just physical goods, but the quiet hum of progress, a rhythm of civilization unfolding calmly and persistently. The wheel also invited experimentation and adaptation. Sumerians combined it with other inventions, like the axle and pulley, creating increasingly sophisticated mechanisms. Roads and paths began to take shape with the knowledge that carts would traverse them, subtly reshaping the landscape to accommodate new possibilities. In this way, the wheel was not just a tool. It became a catalyst, a gentle force that reshaped society, industry, and culture without a single loud proclamation, moving quietly through history with grace and inevitability. Beyond practicality, the wheel held a poetic quality. Its circular shape mirrored the cycles of nature, the rising and setting of the sun, the phases of the moon, the flowing of the rivers that nourish Sumerian life. There is a subtle meditation in its rotation, a visual and tactile reminder of continuity, movement, and balance. In every spin, the wheel carries a story of human curiosity, perseverance, and the gentle rhythm of innovation that defines civilization. As night falls over Sumer, the sun dipping low behind the distant horizon, imagine a cart slowly making its way along a winding path. The wheels turn steadily, the oxen move in unison, and the sound blends with the soft rustle of reeds and the whisper of the river. Inside the cart, a small child dozes lightly, lulled by the gentle motion and the calm rhythm of life around them. The wheel, so simple yet so transformative, quietly supports the flow of human existence, enabling journeys both literal and metaphorical, connecting people, places, and ideas across time. In this way, the wheel embodies more than movement. It is a testament to human observation, creativity, and patience. A simple circle of wood, turned and refined by attentive hands, becomes a quiet force of change, shaping daily life, trade, and imagination. It is an invention that, though unassuming, carries with it the weight of civilization itself, moving gently yet persistently through the centuries. And as we drift further into the story of Sumer, the wheel reminds us that sometimes the most profound innovations begin in the quietest, simplest moments, patiently waiting to transform the world. In the fertile plains of Sumer, between the gently flowing Tigris and Euphrates rivers, life flourished under the careful guidance of human hands. The land was generous, offering rich soil and abundant water, yet it was also unpredictable. The rivers could rise suddenly, flooding fields and homes, or recede, leaving the soil dry and cracked. To the Sumerians, survival depended on understanding the delicate balance between abundance and scarcity, between water and earth. And so, from necessity and observation, they began to tame the rivers, shaping the land with quiet ingenuity that would transform agriculture and sustain civilization for generations. Imagine a group of farmers standing along the riverbank at dawn, the soft glow of the sun casting long reflections on the water. They watch the river carefully, noting the gentle rise of its waters after seasonal rains, the patterns of silt and sediment that mark the fertile soil. With simple tools, wooden stakes, reeds, and clay, they begin to dig channels, small at first, guiding the flow of water from a river to their fields. This was the beginning of irrigation, a gentle yet revolutionary act of cooperation between humans and nature. The Sumerians did not simply rely on the rivers. They learned to distribute water carefully, creating networks of canals, dikes, and reservoirs. Each field received exactly the amount of water it needed, no more, no less. The process required careful planning, observation, and patience, as even a small miscalculation could flood crops or leave them parched. Yet in this careful attention, the Sumerians cultivated a deep connection with their environment, a rhythm of work that was both practical and meditative. The act of guiding water through the fields was a quiet dialogue between humans and nature, a subtle acknowledgement of the forces that shaped their lives. Picture the canals winding through the landscape like silver threads, reflecting the pale morning light. Farmers walk along the edges, checking sluices and gates, ensuring that water flows evenly. Children play nearby, skipping along the banks, their laughter mingling with a soft trickle of moving water. The fields themselves shimmer in varying shades of green, bending gently in the breeze, a living testament to careful planning and persistent care. Each canal is not just a practical structure, it is a symbol of foresight, patience, and the quiet power of human ingenuity. Irrigation allowed Sumerian farmers to grow surplus crops, turning modest settlements into thriving cities. Wheat, barley, and other grains flourished under the careful distribution of water, supporting larger populations and enabling trade. Surplus food meant that not everyone needed to work the fields, freeing some people to become craftsmen, scribes, and builders. In this way, irrigation did more than sustain life. It shaped society, creating conditions for innovation, culture, and civilization itself. The gentle flow of water became the lifeblood of progress, nurturing not just crops, but the very structure of human society. The construction of canals and dikes was a communal effort, requiring cooperation, planning, and shared knowledge. Entire communities worked together, digging and reinforcing channels, monitoring water levels, and maintaining structures that could stretch for miles. This collaboration fostered a sense of shared purpose and responsibility, a quiet understanding that survival depended on harmony, both among humans and with the natural world. The canals, though simple in design, were monumental in impact, creating a landscape where human ingenuity and nature worked in tandem. Water management also required foresight and innovation. The Sumerians observed the cycles of the river, the changing seasons, and the patterns of rainfall. They learned to store water for dry periods, divert excess water during floods, and anticipate the needs of both crops and people. In doing so, they developed early engineering skills, combining practical knowledge with careful observation to create a system that was both reliable and sustainable. Each canal, each gate, each careful measurement reflects a mind attuned to balance and patience, a mind that sought not to conquer nature, but to work with it. Imagine walking along a canal at dusk, the air fragrant with wet soil and growing plants. The sun set slowly over the horizon, casting golden reflections on the water. Farmers return home, carrying baskets of harvested grain, while children gather near the canal to watch the gentle flow, fascinated by the way water moves with purpose and grace. The rivers and canals seem almost alive, a quiet, constant presence that shapes the rhythm of life, guiding daily routines, and nurturing the growth of civilization. Irrigation was not merely a technical achievement. It was a way of thinking, a mindset of observation, care, and foresight. It taught the Sumerians to plan ahead, to measure, to coordinate, and to respect the natural world. It connected them to their environment in ways both practical and spiritual, creating a sense of continuity between human life and the rhythms of earth and river. Each drop of water that flowed through the canals carried the potential to sustain life, to foster growth, and to enable the quiet unfolding of human culture. As night falls, imagine the fields glistening under the silver glow of the moon. The canals reflect the stars, creating delicate patterns of light across the land. The soft murmur of water accompanies a gentle rustle of crops in the breeze, a soothing lullaby for the Sumerians and for us as we imagine walking through this ancient landscape. Every channel, every gate, every careful flow of water tells a story of patience, wisdom, and the quiet power of human ingenuity. Through irrigation, the Sumerians learned to shape their environment with care and precision, creating not just fertile fields, but the foundation for civilization itself. They transformed the unpredictable nature of rivers into a source of sustenance, stability, and growth. And in doing so, they set the stage for the other remarkable creations that would emerge, each quietly altering the course of human history, just as a gentle flow of water alters the shape of the land over time. In the soft, fertile fields of Sumer, where the rivers Tigris and Euphrates meander like silver threads through the land, life unfolded in quiet rhythms. Farmers worked diligently, guided by the rising sun, the whisper of the wind through the reeds, and the gentle flow of water through the irrigation canals. Yet, even with these carefully constructed waterways, tilling the earth remained a slow, demanding task. Hands and simple tools could only turn so much soil, and as the population grew, the need for more efficient methods became clear. It was in this context of daily necessity that the plow quietly came into being, a simple invention that would transform agriculture and the lives of the people. Picture a farmer kneeling beside a field, observing the furrows in the soft soil, noticing how easily certain materials slice through earth while others drag and resist. Perhaps it was a sharpened piece of wood or a simple yoke attached to an animal that sparked the first idea. Slowly, patiently, the first plows were shaped, lightweight, functional, and designed to be guided by human or animal strength. This was not a loud or dramatic innovation. It was a thoughtful, deliberate solution born of careful observation and a desire to work in harmony with the land. The earliest plows were simple, yet they multiplied the efforts of the farmers many times over. Instead of laboriously scratching the surface with hand tools, a plow could cut deep furrows, turning soil with minimal exertion. Imagine a pair of oxen moving steadily across a field, yoked together, pulling a smooth wooden implement that carves neat lines into the earth. Each pass is efficient, precise, and calming in its rhythm. The farmer guides the animals with gentle commands, his hands steady, his eyes attentive. The plow moves slowly but purposefully, a silent partner in the act of creation. This quiet invention had profound consequences. Fields could be prepared more quickly, allowing more land to be cultivated and more crops to be harvested. The soil, turned and aerated by the plow, became richer, more fertile, and better able to sustain life. Grain and vegetables flourished under its gentle guidance, supporting growing populations and creating a surplus that transformed the Sumerian way of life. The plow did not merely ease labor, it changed the very fabric of society, enabling people to invest time and energy in other pursuits, craftsmanship, trade, writing, and the development of cities. Imagine walking along the edges of these fields at dawn, the soft mist rising from the freshly turned earth. The rhythmic sound of the oxen's hooves on the ground blends with the subtle scrape of wood against soil. Farmers move in measured steps, their bodies attuned to the pace of the animals and the pull of the plow. Children might follow nearby, carrying small baskets of seed or offering encouragement, their laughter mixing with a quiet symphony of labor and nature. Each furrow, each gentle turn of the soil, is a testament to human ingenuity and the slow, deliberate unfolding of progress. The design of the plow evolved with time, shaped by trial, observation, and necessity. Sumerians experimented with different materials, would reinforce with stone or metal tips, stronger yokes of larger animals, and adjustments to depth and width to suit different soils. Each refinement was a quiet achievement, enhancing efficiency while remaining in harmony with the natural world. Unlike a sudden or dramatic invention, the plow developed slowly, patiently, reflecting the careful, thoughtful approach that characterized much of Sumerian innovation. Beyond practicality, the plow also shaped the mindset of the people. It taught patience, foresight, and the value of planning. A farmer using a plow must consider the condition of the soil, the timing of planting, the flow of water from the canals, and the strength of the animals. This quiet meditation on cause and effect, effort and reward, instilled a deep understanding of the rhythms of life. Each day, as the plow moved steadily across the fields, the Sumerians learned not only about agriculture, but about harmony, perseverance, and the delicate balance between human work and nature. Even in the evenings, after the day's work is done, the presence of the plow lingers in the mind. Imagine watching the sun set over the vast fields, the earth still rich with the imprint of freshly turned furrows. The oxen return to their pens, the farmers gather their tools, and the gentle hum of the evening air carries the promise of growth, sustenance, and the quiet progress of civilization. The plow rests in the shadows, unassuming yet essential, a symbol of human ingenuity patiently shaping the land and supporting life in subtle, enduring ways. The impact of this simple tool extended far beyond individual fields. It allowed communities to expand, trade to flourish, and society to develop new roles and skills. Some could focus on building temples, crafting pottery, or recording knowledge in cuneiform, all made possible by the abundance and stability created by effective agriculture. The plow, in its quiet, deliberate way, became a cornerstone of civilization, transforming the land, the economy, and the very rhythm of daily life in Sumer. As night falls and the soft glow of the moon reflects on the irrigation canals, imagine the fields stretching into the distance, neat furrows catching the silvery light. The gentle rustle of grain swaying in the breeze, the soft lowing of resting oxen, and the distant calls of night birds create a serene symphony. The land, tilled and nurtured by the plow, breathes quietly, alive with the promise of harvest and life sustained. And in this gentle scene, we see the profound simplicity of human creativity, a wooden implement, guided by hands and animals, quietly changing the world one furrow at a time. Through the plow, Sumerians learned the value of patience, observation, and deliberate effort. They turned the soil, and in doing so, they turned the course of history, laying the foundation for countless generations to come. In the soft rhythm of its movement, we sense a harmony between humans, animals, and the earth, a delicate, enduring balance that continues to resonate, even as we drift deeper into sleep, carried gently by the story of innovation and life in ancient Sumer. In the quiet cities of Sumer, amidst the gentle murmur of the Tigris and Euphrates and the soft rustle of crops swaying in the fields, another kind of innovation was taking shape, one of the mind rather than the hand. While farmers turned the soil and scribes pressed symbols into clay, Sumerians were quietly discovering the patterns of the world, seeking to understand the order hidden in numbers and shapes. Mathematics, in its earliest form, became a way of measuring, predicting, and harmonizing life, an invisible thread that tied together agriculture, trade, architecture, and even the movement of the heavens. Imagine a scribe sitting at a small table in the warm sunlight, a clay tablet before them, and a reed stylus poised carefully in their hand. Before they record numbers, they observe the world around them. They count the cattle in a herd, measure the width of a field, and calculate the amount of grain harvested. To manage these details accurately, they develop a system of numbers, a way to express quantities, proportions, and relationships with clarity. It is not abstract or detached. It is deeply practical, born from the rhythms of daily life and the needs of a growing civilization. The Sumerians devised a base 60-number system, known today as the sexagesimal system, which might seem unusual to our modern minds. But for them, it was perfect for their purposes, allowing them to divide hours, minutes, and angles with remarkable precision. They could record fractions, calculate areas, and keep meticulous accounts of trade and goods. Imagine a marketplace in Ur, the gentle clatter of clay tokens being exchanged, merchants counting carefully, and scribes recording numbers on tablets. Through this system, trade became organized, fair, and reliable, a quiet backbone supporting the flow of life and commerce. Numbers also allowed the Sumerians to plan and construct with precision. Builders measured the dimensions of homes, granaries, and temples, ensuring that structures were balanced and stable. The ziggurats, rising majestically above the city streets, were not only feats of labor and faith, but of calculation. Every layer of mud brick was measured, every angle carefully considered. The soft, deliberate recording of numbers on clay tablets made these calculations possible, ensuring that the work of human hands aligned harmoniously with the principles of geometry and proportion. Mathematics was not limited to the earth. It extended into the sky. Sumerian astronomers observed the movement of the sun, moon, and stars, using numbers to chart their paths and predict seasonal changes. The cycles of planting and harvest, the timing of festivals, and the rituals of the temples all depended on this careful measurement of time. Imagine the soft glow of a lantern in the evening as a priest counts the days between lunar phases, tracing symbols on a clay tablet to mark the passage of months. Numbers become a language of the cosmos, linking the movements of humans and the heavens in quiet, elegant harmony. Even in trade, mathematics played a gentle but essential role. Sumerian merchants used numbers to weigh silver, measure grain, and calculate fair exchange. Tokens representing goods, barley, cattle, or oil, were carefully counted and recorded. A single tablet might list the exchange of dozens of items, each accounted for with meticulous attention. In the soft, deliberate act of recording numbers, the scribes were not merely documenting transactions. They were shaping trust, fairness, and the smooth functioning of the community. Each mark in the clay was both practical and symbolic, a gentle assurance that life could be measured, understood, and harmonized. The Sumerians also explored geometry, using shapes and measurement to plan buildings, city layouts, and even fields. Imagine a farmer using a simple rope stretch between stakes to measure a plot, or a builder calculating angles for a temple foundation. These quiet acts of observation and calculation demonstrate a deep understanding of the natural and constructed world. Each measurement, each fraction, each calculation is part of a slow, deliberate process of understanding the patterns that govern life. Mathematics becomes a lens through which the Sumerians view and shape the world, bringing clarity and order to daily existence. Numbers also shape storytelling and ritual. Clay tablets record not only accounts and measurements, but hymns, myths, and epic tales, sometimes accompanied by numerical annotations for rhythm, timing, or ceremonial purposes. Imagine the soft murmur of a priest reading from a tablet, the careful cadence guided by subtle numerical patterns, linking human speech to cosmic rhythm. In this way, mathematics quietly underpins culture, shaping both practical life and the intangible realm of imagination and ritual. In their homes and workshops, children learn to count, measure, and calculate from an early age. A small child might place clay tokens in groups, learning the relationship between objects and numbers, experimenting with patterns, and discovering the satisfaction of order. These lessons were gentle, patient, and slow, embedding a deep understanding of the world's rhythms and relationships. Through this quiet education, the principles of mathematics became woven into daily life, forming a foundation for more complex innovations to come. Even now, we can imagine the soft glow of lanterns illuminating a Sumerian classroom or workshop, the scratch of stylus on clay, the low hum of conversation as students and elders explore numbers together. The air is calm, filled with focus and quiet curiosity, as the foundations of arithmetic, geometry, and measurement are laid. In these moments, mathematics is not abstract or intimidating. It is alive, practical, and intimately connected to the natural and social world. The Sumerians' approach to numbers teaches us patience, observation, and harmony. Each calculation is deliberate, each measurement considered carefully. There is a rhythm to counting, a calmness in observing patterns, and a quiet satisfaction in finding order in the world. Through their innovations in mathematics, the Sumerians shaped not only trade, agriculture, and architecture, but also the very way humans understand and interact with their environment. As night falls over the cities of Sumer, the streets grow quiet, the rivers shimmer under the moonlight, and the clay tablets lie gently drying in the warm evening air. The soft marks of numbers, etched so long ago, hold stories of calculation, observation, and understanding. They remind us that even in silence, human thought can measure, record, and comprehend, quietly connecting past and present. Mathematics, in its earliest form, is a reflection of the human desire to make sense of the world, a subtle, enduring rhythm that guides us as gently as the flowing rivers, the turning wheel, and the tilled fields, carrying civilization forward with quiet precision. In the soft, fertile lands of Sumer, beneath the gentle flow of the Tigris and Euphrates, the people often looked upward, their eyes tracing the vast expanse of the sky. By day, the sun arcs slowly across the heavens, casting warm light upon the fields and cities, while at night a blanket of stars stretches endlessly above the mud-brick rooftops. It was in this celestial dome that the Sumerians first glimpsed patterns that would guide not only their daily lives but also the very rhythm of civilization. Through careful observation of the sun, moon, and stars, they began to understand the cycles of time and the passage of seasons, giving rise to the quiet, transformative art of astronomy and calendars. Imagine a priest or scholar standing atop a low ziggurat at dawn, the city sleeping softly below, the horizon painted with pale hues of pink and gold. With keen eyes and patient attention, they track the movement of stars and the changing phases of the moon. Each observation is deliberate, recorded with a stylus on clay tablets, noting subtle shifts and patterns. These records, painstakingly kept over generations, gradually form the foundation of a structured understanding of time. It is not a hurried or frantic process. It is calm, meditative, and deeply connected to the natural world, a rhythm mirrored in the lives of the people below. The Sumerians realized that the movements of celestial bodies were not random but followed consistent, predictable patterns. The moon waxed and waned in cycles, guiding the timing of planting and harvesting. The sun's passage determined the days and seasons, dictating when to sow grain and when to gather it. They noticed the stars' position shifting subtly over months and years, marking the changing seasons and offering a quiet reassurance that life, like the heavens, moves in orderly patterns. These observations became the basis of the first calendars, allowing communities to plan, organize, and live in harmony with the natural world. Imagine the soft scratch of a stylus pressing into clay as an astronomer records the moon's phases, creating a simple, repeating sequence of symbols. Each mark is a small piece of a larger puzzle, a careful measurement that links human activity to the movements of the cosmos. Farmers consult these records, adjusting the timing of planting, irrigation, and harvest with precision. Festivals and religious ceremonies are scheduled according to lunar months and solar cycles, embedding a sense of cosmic rhythm into the heartbeat of daily life. Through these calendars, Sumerians cultivated a quiet awareness of time, observing, planning, and participating in the cycles of the universe. Astronomy also guided navigation and travel. Merchants moving between cities could rely on the stars to chart their path, using constellations as steady guides across plains and rivers. In the calm, reflective practice of observing the heavens, the Sumerians connected not only their own lives but also the movement of goods, people, and ideas across the region. The stars became both a practical tool and a source of wonder, their silent, constant presence offering reassurance, perspective, and a sense of order in a world shaped by both human hands and natural forces. The calendars that emerged from these observations were subtle yet transformative. The Sumerians divided the year into months corresponding to lunar cycles, later adjusting with intercalary months to match the solar year. Each month was associated with specific agricultural tasks, rituals, and festivals. Imagine a village waking at the first light of a new lunar month, its people performing ceremonies, preparing the fields, and marking the passage of time with quiet reverence. In this way, calendars were not merely a tool for tracking days. They were a gentle guide for living in harmony with the environment, a bridge between human activity and the cosmic order. Even architecture and city planning were influenced by astronomy. Ziggurats, temples, and public spaces were often aligned with celestial bodies, their orientation reflecting the movements of the sun, moon, or stars. Imagine a ziggurat bathed in the golden light of sunrise, perfectly aligned with the eastern horizon, a testament to careful observation and the quiet blending of human creation with cosmic rhythm. These structures were more than monuments. They were symbols of harmony, embodying the Sumerians' understanding of time, space, and the enduring patterns of nature. The study of astronomy encouraged a mindset of patience, observation, and reflection. Observers would spend long hours in stillness, recording subtle changes in the sky over days, weeks, and years. This practice cultivated careful attention to detail, a deep appreciation for cycles, and an understanding of long-term consequences. Through this quiet engagement with the heavens, the Sumerians learned to plan for the future, to anticipate change, and to live with a sense of rhythm and continuity that extended beyond immediate needs. Astronomy and calendars also nourished culture and storytelling. Myths and legends often reflected celestial events, weaving tales of gods and heroes into the patterns observed in the sky. The movement of planets and stars became metaphors for human behavior, divine will, and the cycles of life itself. Imagine children sitting by a warm fire as elders point to the stars, recounting tales of constellations, lunar deities, and cosmic events, their voices soft and measured. These stories, intertwined with the rhythm of the cosmos, nurtured imagination, cultural continuity, and a sense of belonging within the vast universe. Through the careful observation of celestial bodies, the Sumerians discovered that time itself could be measured, divided, and understood. Days, months, and years became reliable units, guiding agriculture, commerce, and ritual. The quiet discipline of recording lunar cycles and solar movements allowed civilization to thrive, supporting growing cities and complex societies. This gentle, reflective practice connected humans to nature, earth to sky, and the present to the future, creating a subtle yet enduring framework for life itself. As night descends over the cities of Sumer, imagine the soft glow of the moon illuminating mud-brick streets, reflecting on the calm waters of the canals. The stars twinkled gently, countless points of light stretching across the infinite sky. A priest stands atop a ziggurat, noting the constellations, marking the passage of time with quiet reverence. Below, the city rests, its people lulled by the rhythm of the cosmos, guided by the invisible hand of the heavens and the careful observations of generations past. In this serene, timeless scene, we see how astronomy and calendars, though subtle and patient in their development, became essential tools for understanding, organizing, and harmonizing life in ancient Sumer. Through the quiet study of the sky, the Sumerians taught themselves, and us, the value of observation, patience, and harmony with natural cycles. Their calendars guided fields, festivals, and lives. Their constellations inspired stories and wonder. In this way, astronomy was more than a science. It was a meditation, a rhythm, and a gentle thread connecting human life to the vast, silent universe, providing structure, reassurance, and calm guidance that resonates even as we drift slowly into sleep. In the quiet cities of Sumer, amidst the gentle murmur of the rivers and the steady rhythm of daily life, the need for order and fairness began to take shape. Life in a growing civilization required more than just fertile fields, flowing rivers, and bustling markets. It required rules, guidance, and a shared understanding of justice to ensure that a community could thrive peacefully. From these needs emerged the first law codes and systems of governance, subtle yet powerful innovations that structured society and created a sense of stability that was felt in every street, home, and field. Imagine a Sumerian ruler sitting beneath the shade of a date palm, overlooking the city at dawn. The streets are alive with merchants setting up their stalls, farmers guiding their oxen along the canals, and children playing quietly in the alleyways. The ruler's mind, calm yet attentive, considers how to maintain balance and fairness in the city. Disputes occasionally arise over property, trade, or family matters, and without a clear system, these disagreements could escalate, disturbing the rhythm of life. The creation of law, in this context, is both practical and protective, a quiet instrument to maintain harmony. Sumerian law codes were among the first formalized systems of rules known to humanity. They were carefully inscribed on clay tablets, their wedge-shaped symbols recording the expectations of society in enduring form. Each tablet carries a sense of deliberate authority, yet it also reflects thoughtfulness, patience, and a desire to create clarity in daily life. Imagine a scribe, stylus in hand, gently pressing the symbols into the soft clay, recording the rights, duties, and consequences that would guide the community. In this act, the abstract concept of justice becomes tangible, resting quietly in the hands of those who will follow its guidance. The laws covered every aspect of life, from trade and commerce to family relationships and property rights. They addressed issues such as theft, debt, contracts, and personal injury, providing clear expectations and consequences for actions. Imagine a marketplace where a merchant disputes the weight of grain delivered to a buyer. With a written law code as a guide, both parties understand the rules, and the dispute can be resolved calmly and fairly. In this way, law became a stabilizing force, preventing chaos and allowing the city to function smoothly, its inhabitants confident in the fairness of the system. Governance in Sumer was closely intertwined with these laws. City-states were led by rulers or councils, often guided by religious principles and the belief that the gods endorsed order. These leaders ensured that laws were enforced, canals maintained, and trade regulated. They also acted as mediators, resolving disputes with wisdom and care. Imagine the gentle presence of a governor walking through the city streets, listening to the concerns of citizens, observing the work of farmers and craftsmen, and quietly ensuring that the mechanisms of society operate smoothly. Governance, in this sense, is not harsh or domineering. It is a calm, deliberate orchestration of human life. Perhaps the most famous example of Sumerian law is the Code of Yonemu, one of the earliest known law codes in history. Written on clay tablets, it outlined crimes and punishments, providing guidance for maintaining justice and fairness. The code addresses everything from theft and adultery to injury and debt, reflecting an understanding of human behavior and the complexities of society. Its tone is measured and intentional, aiming not only to punish but to teach and prevent future wrongdoing. Imagine the quiet authority of these words, etched in clay, guiding citizens as they navigate the intricate social landscape of the city. Law and governance were also tools for protecting the vulnerable. The Sumerians recognized the need to safeguard widows, orphans, and the poor, ensuring that society did not become dominated solely by the strong or wealthy. Through careful rules and regulations, they created a sense of balance, a gentle acknowledgement that civilization flourishes most when its members are supported, not oppressed. Imagine a widow receiving guidance on her rights, a merchant resolving a dispute without fear, and children learning that fairness is an expectation, not a privilege. In these subtle ways, governance and law cultivate trust and harmony, quietly reinforcing the structure of society. The administration of justice required meticulous record-keeping. Scribes recorded legal decisions, contracts, and transactions, creating a system of accountability and continuity. Imagine the calm precision of a scribe noting the outcome of a legal dispute, ensuring that future cases could reference past judgments. These records became a backbone for consistency, allowing laws to be applied fairly and uniformly. In this, we see the Sumerians' dedication to order, reflection, and careful observation, building a society that functions not only on instinct but on reasoned principles and documented guidance. Even daily life was subtly shaped by governance. Trade was regulated to prevent disputes. Taxes supported public works such as canals and temples, and festivals were scheduled according to the calendar. The rhythm of life, from planting and harvest to marketplaces and religious observances, was guided by the structures of law and leadership. Imagine walking through the streets of Ur or Uruk, the calm order of the city evident in the smooth flow of commerce, the careful tending of fields, and the quiet observance of community norms. Governance and law are not imposing or chaotic. They are gentle, omnipresent frameworks that allow life to unfold smoothly. The creation of law codes also encouraged reflection and ethical thought. Citizens began to understand cause and effect, responsibility, and the consequences of actions. Even young children would observe the fairness of transactions, the outcomes of disputes, and the expectations of behavior. Over time, this cultivated a culture of awareness, patience, and moral reasoning, extending the influence of governance beyond mere rules into the hearts and minds of the people. As night falls over Sumerian cities, the canals glisten under the soft glow of the moon, and the mud-brick streets grow quiet. Families settle into their homes, the markets close, and the distant ziggurats cast long, gentle shadows across the land. The law codes rest on clay tablets, silent but potent, guiding the lives of citizens with calm, enduring authority. The rulers, the scribes, and the citizens all participate in this quiet orchestration, ensuring that society continues to function with balance and harmony. Through law and governance, Sumerians learned that civilization requires more than agriculture, trade, or architecture. It requires care, foresight, and shared understanding. Rules, guidance, and systems of justice provide the structure within which creativity, culture, and daily life can flourish. In this way, the subtle innovations of law and governance, though not always visible, are foundational to human society, gently shaping behavior, nurturing fairness, and ensuring continuity for generations to come. In the soft, fertile valleys of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates weave their gentle paths through the land, life was quietly bustling with a rhythm all its own. Farmers tended to their fields, scribes recorded transactions, and craftsmen shaped clay and metal into useful and beautiful objects. Yet, beyond the fields and workshops, another force quietly shaped Sumerian life: trade. The exchange of goods, ideas, and resources not only provided sustenance and prosperity, but also wove a delicate web connecting people, cities, and cultures in a network of interdependence. Trade and economy in Sumer were more than mere transactions. They were the lifeblood of society, moving calmly and purposefully, sustaining growth, innovation, and community. Imagine the early morning in a city like Ur or Uruk. The streets are waking gently, sunlight spilling across the mud-brick homes and narrow alleys. Merchants set out their goods, carefully arranged on low wooden tables or woven mats. Barley, dates, wool, pottery, and textiles gleam in the soft light, each item a testament to skill, labor, and observation. Nearby, the quiet clatter of clay tokens being counted into small baskets signals the start of transactions, the careful recording of exchanges on clay tablets ensuring fairness and trust. The marketplace hums softly, a gentle symphony of commerce that underpins the life of the city. Trade in Sumer extended far beyond local markets. The rivers themselves became highways, carrying boats laden with goods to distant cities. Imagine a slender reed boat gliding silently along the Tigris, its cargo of grain, pottery, or metal quietly shifting with the gentle waves. Merchants guide the vessel with practiced hands, navigating reeds and currents with care. Each journey is both a practical endeavor and a subtle act of connection, linking communities and creating a broader, shared economy. These exchanges introduce new materials, ideas, and technologies, gradually enriching Sumerian life and expanding the horizons of possibility. Barter was the earliest form of trade. Farmers exchanged grain for tools, potters traded their wares for wool, and craftsmen swapped goods with one another in a delicate balance of supply and demand. Each transaction required patience, careful measurement, and negotiation. Imagine a farmer weighing barley against a basket of dates, carefully considering the relative value of each item. Tokens or clay records might be used to ensure fairness, acting as a silent, durable witness to the agreement. Through these calm, deliberate interactions, Sumerians built trust, maintained harmony, and ensured that the economy could function smoothly without conflict. Over time, the Sumerians developed systems of accounting to manage more complex trade. Clay tablets with inscriptions detail quantities, prices, and agreements, often using the same cuneiform writing that recorded stories and laws. Imagine a scribe gently pressing the stylus into soft clay, marking each transaction with care, creating records that could be referenced for months or years. This practice not only maintained order and transparency, but also allowed trade to expand, connecting cities and regions, enabling specialization, and fostering a sense of stability and predictability in daily life. Trade also encouraged the development of craft and innovation. As demand for certain goods grew, craftsmen refined their skills, experimenting with new techniques and materials. Potters created intricate vessels, metal workers shaped bronze into tools and ornaments, and weavers developed finer textiles. Each improvement reflected both practical necessity and quiet creativity, nurtured by the gentle rhythm of supply and demand. The marketplace thus became a space not only for commerce but for ingenuity, where the flow of goods inspired new ideas and skills. International trade further enriched Sumerian society. The city-states imported timber, metals, and precious stones from distant lands, while exporting grain, textiles, and crafted goods. Imagine a caravan arriving from the mountains, the soft clatter of pack animals on dusty roads blending with the murmur of the river, goods carefully unpacked and displayed. The arrival of foreign materials introduced new possibilities, inspiring architectural innovations, artistic expression, and technological experimentation. Trade thus acted as a quiet bridge between cultures, spreading knowledge, influence, and inspiration across vast distances. Economy in Sumer was closely linked with governance and law. Taxes and tributes collected from trade supported public works like irrigation canals, temples, and city walls. Merchants followed regulations and recorded transactions, maintaining trust and stability within the community. Imagine the calm efficiency of a tax collector noting goods on a clay tablet, ensuring that resources for public works are accounted for. Through this structured system, trade and economy were not chaotic or uncertain. They became a dependable foundation for the growth and organization of civilization. Even everyday life was subtly shaped by economic rhythms. Seasonal festivals, religious ceremonies, and social gatherings were often linked to agricultural production and trade cycles. Merchants and farmers planned around the availability of goods, ensuring that markets were stocked and celebrations could proceed smoothly. Imagine the city at dawn, canals reflecting the early light, goods carefully loaded onto carts, and merchants greeting one another with calm familiarity. Every element of life, from work to ritual, is quietly intertwined with the patterns of trade, forming a gentle, pervasive network of interdependence. Trade also fostered social cohesion. Through fair exchange and shared economic practices, communities developed mutual trust, a sense of responsibility, and the understanding that cooperation benefits all. Conflicts could be resolved through measured negotiation, contracts, and records. Imagine a dispute over the weight of barley resolved calmly with reference to a clay tablet, the parties satisfied and harmony restored. In these quiet interactions, the Sumerians cultivated a society grounded in patience, fairness, and trust, where the economy was not only a mechanism for wealth but also a subtle instrument for maintaining social order. As night falls over the city, the sun dipping behind distant ziggurats, the marketplace grows quiet. Boats rest along the riverbanks, carts are parked along alleys, and the soft glow of lanterns illuminates clay tablets filled with meticulous records. The flow of goods may pause for the evening, but the patterns established by trade continue to guide the rhythm of life. Surplus from the fields, careful management of resources, and the gentle coordination of commerce ensure that society thrives, and civilization continues to grow in calm, measured harmony. Through trade and economy, the Sumerians learned the value of observation, patience, and connection. They discovered that the movement of goods can strengthen bonds between people and cities, support innovation, and sustain life. In this way, the quiet systems of trade and commerce, though often unnoticed, became essential foundations of civilization, creating networks of dependence, trust, and prosperity that allowed culture, art, and knowledge to flourish. The gentle hum of trade, measured in tokens and clay records, guided the flow of life, carrying Sumerian society forward with calm confidence, much like the steady currents of the rivers that nourish the land. In the quiet, sunlit cities of Sumer, where mud brick homes and ziggurats rise gently above the fertile plains, life was shaped not only by water, fields, and trade, but also by the subtle, transformative power of metal. In workshops tucked along narrow streets, craftsmen carefully observed the properties of natural materials, copper, tin, and later bronze, experimenting with heat, fire, and shaping techniques to create tools, weapons, and ornaments. Metallurgy was more than a practical skill. It was an art of patience and observation, a quiet alchemy that transformed raw stone and metal into objects that would support, protect, and inspire civilization. Imagine a craftsman kneeling before a low furnace, the warm glow of the fire reflecting off his focused eyes. Small ingots of copper lie on a clay table, ready to be melted and poured into molds. The air is filled with a gentle hum of anticipation and concentration, the rhythmic tapping of hammers against metal creating a soft percussion. Every movement is deliberate, every adjustment thoughtful. The transformation of metal from raw ore to usable tool is a careful dance of heat and timing, guided by experience, observation, and patient experimentation. The earliest tools created by Sumerian metallurgists were simple yet revolutionary: chisels to shape wood and stone, sickles to harvest grain, and blades to prepare food. These tools multiplied human effort many times over, allowing work to be completed more efficiently and precisely. Imagine a farmer wielding a newly forged sickle, the curved blade slicing smoothly through the tall stalks of grain. Each cut is clean and effortless, a testament to the skill of the craftsman who shaped the metal with care. Tools like these quietly revolutionized daily life, making labor less arduous and more productive. Over time, metallurgy evolved into a more sophisticated practice. The Sumerians discovered the benefits of alloying metals, combining copper with tin to create bronze, a material stronger and more durable than its individual components. With bronze, tools, weapons, and ceremonial objects became more resilient, precise, and long-lasting. Imagine a smith carefully mixing metals in a crucible, watching the molten mixture shimmer and flow, then pouring it into molds to create chisels, axes, or spearheads. The result is subtle yet transformative, a simple combination of elements producing objects that shape civilization. Beyond practical tools, metallurgy enabled artistic and ceremonial expression. Jewelry, ornamental vessels, and decorative items were crafted with meticulous attention to detail. Picture a delicate bronze bracelet resting on a scribe's table, its intricate patterns reflecting the soft glow of a lamp. Each curve, each line, is formed with patience, an intimate understanding of the properties of metal and the aesthetic sensibilities of Sumerian culture. These objects are not only functional, they carry meaning, status, and beauty, quietly enriching the social and spiritual fabric of the community. Metallurgy also influenced military and defense capabilities. Weapons forged in Sumerian workshops, from bronze daggers to axes, provided protection for communities while supporting the enforcement of law and order. Imagine a city guard practicing drills with a newly crafted spear, the soft scrape of bronze against stone echoing through the courtyard. Each piece is a product of careful thought, experimentation, and skill, ensuring that a community is safe while also demonstrating the quiet ingenuity of human craftsmanship. In this way, metallurgy connects practical necessity with innovation, art, and societal stability. The development of metallurgy required careful observation, experimentation, and patience. Craftsmen learned to control the temperature of furnaces, the composition of alloys, and the shape of molds. Small adjustments could yield dramatically different results: a slightly higher heat, a different hammering technique, a subtle variation in alloy ratio, and each success was recorded, remembered, and passed down through generations. Imagine a master smith teaching apprentices, the calm repetition of hammering, pouring, and shaping becoming a meditative rhythm that preserves knowledge while nurturing skill. Metallurgy also encouraged trade and interaction with distant lands. Tin, essential for making bronze, was not naturally abundant in Sumer, so merchants traveled long distances to acquire it. Imagine a caravan arriving from distant mountains, the gentle jostle of pack animals and the soft murmur of travelers blending with the ambient sounds of the city. These materials introduced new possibilities, allowing craftsmen to create stronger tools, more intricate jewelry, and durable weapons. Trade and metallurgy together subtly expand the horizons of Sumerian society, linking communities and inspiring innovation. Even daily life was transformed by the careful use of metal. Farming became more efficient, building more precise, and cooking more convenient. Every bronze sickle, chisel, or needle carries a quiet imprint of human thought, experimentation, and care. Imagine a household at dawn, a farmer sharpening a bronze tool, a potter using a metal implement to shape clay, and a mother sewing with a bronze needle. Each object, forged in the soft glow of fire and guided by patient hands, supports a gentle rhythm of life, enhancing human activity with subtle elegance. Metallurgy also embodies a philosophy of observation, patience, and adaptation. Craftsmen learn to respect the material, to understand its properties, and to respond to its behavior. In the soft glow of furnaces, where hands and eyes are tuned to subtle changes, they discover that progress often comes not from haste but from careful attention, repeated experimentation, and a willingness to learn from small mistakes. This quiet, deliberate approach to problem-solving is reflected in every tool, weapon, and piece of art produced in Sumerian workshops. As night falls over cities of Sumer, imagine the soft glow of embers in the workshop, the faint metallic scent of bronze in the air, and the gentle shadows cast by hanging tools. Craftsmen rest, apprentices leave quietly, and the city settles into calm. Yet the influence of metallurgy endures. Every tool, every ornament, every blade continues to shape daily life, sustaining work, art, and community. In this serene, almost meditative scene, we can appreciate how the quiet innovations of metallurgy, born from observation, patience, and creativity, ripple through civilization, enhancing human capability and inspiring further progress. Through metallurgy and tool-making, Sumerians learned to transform raw materials into functional and beautiful objects, quietly reshaping daily life, work, and culture. These innovations multiplied human effort, expanded trade networks, and nurtured artistic expression. The gentle rhythm of crafting metal, observing, heating, shaping, and refining, echoes the broader Sumerian approach to life, deliberate, careful, and harmonious. And as the soft hum of the evening envelops the city, we can sense the enduring influence of these early metallurgists, whose patient, creative work continues to support the unfolding story of civilization, one carefully forged object at a time. In the gentle, sun-drenched cities of Sumer, life unfolded in quiet, steady rhythms. Farmers tended their fields along the fertile banks of the Tigris and Euphrates. Craftsmen shaped clay and metal into useful tools and art, and merchants moved carefully along canals and streets, transporting goods and keeping the pulse of the city alive. Amidst these daily activities, another innovation quietly transformed Sumerian civilization: writing. It began as a practical necessity but soon grew into a profound tool for communication, knowledge preservation, and cultural continuity. Writing and record-keeping became the invisible thread connecting every aspect of society, grounding life in clarity, order, and memory. Imagine a scribe sitting at a low wooden table, a smooth clay tablet before them, and a sharpened reed stylus poised in their hand. The soft morning light filters through the doorway, illuminating the delicate marks they are about to press into the soft clay. These wedge-shaped impressions, known today as cuneiform, represent numbers, goods, names, and stories. The scribe works deliberately, with patience and care, each mark recording information that could be referenced days, months, or even years later. In this quiet, meditative process, the abstract concept of human thought and memory takes tangible form, a calm bridge between the present and the future. Writing first emerged as a practical necessity. With growing cities, trade, and agriculture, people needed a reliable way to track goods, transactions, and resources. Imagine a merchant counting bushels of grain and pressing tokens into clay to signify each one, then carefully marking the total on a tablet. A farmer delivering barley to the city could verify the amount recorded, ensuring fairness and trust. These early systems of record-keeping were precise and methodical, creating a quiet, dependable framework for economic activity, governance, and community life. Over time, writing evolved beyond mere numbers and tokens. The Sumerians began recording laws, contracts, and agreements, ensuring that rules could be referenced consistently and disputes resolved with fairness. Picture a tablet describing a loan of grain or a property transaction, the marks of the stylus capturing the intentions and obligations of both parties. The written word provided continuity, allowing society to function smoothly across time and space, creating a sense of trust and stability. The act of writing itself was deliberate, patient, and meticulous, a reflection of the thoughtful care that permeated all aspects of Sumerian life. Writing also became a tool for storytelling and cultural preservation. Imagine a scribe gently pressing symbols into clay, recording a myth about the creation of the world, the adventures of gods, or the deeds of heroes. These stories were not merely entertainment. They were lessons, memories, and shared wisdom passed down through generations. Through careful record-keeping, the Sumerians could preserve their culture, ensuring that the knowledge of their people, their beliefs, and their achievements endured beyond the fleeting passage of individual lives. Education was deeply connected to writing. Young scribes learned the art of cuneiform through repetition, patience, and observation. A child might begin by tracing simple symbols on clay, slowly mastering more complex characters and numerical notations. Imagine a classroom filled with soft murmurs of practice, the gentle scratch of stylus on clay blending with the calm concentration of learners. Through this careful training, the Sumerians cultivated not only skilled scribes but also a culture that valued knowledge, observation, and precision. Writing became a quiet, meditative practice, shaping the minds of those who engaged with it. Record-keeping extended beyond commerce and culture into governance and law. Kings, governors, and priests relied on written records to administer cities, enforce rules, and plan public works. Imagine a ruler consulting a tablet that lists the allocation of grain for irrigation, labor for canal maintenance, or offerings for a temple festival. These records provided a calm, reliable foundation for decision-making, ensuring that resources were distributed fairly and that society functioned smoothly. Writing, in this way, becomes both a tool of administration and a subtle instrument of stability, quietly guiding the rhythm of urban life. Even daily life was subtly shaped by writing. Traders checked clay tablets to verify transactions, farmers referenced records to plan harvests, and craftsmen recorded orders and inventory. Imagine a quiet morning in the market, a merchant glancing at a tablet to confirm a delivery, a farmer counting recorded rations, or a potter noting the allocation of clay. Each act, small yet deliberate, reinforces the order and harmony of Sumerian society. The rhythm of life flows more smoothly when information is carefully recorded and preserved, providing continuity and calm assurance to all who depend upon it. Writing also allowed the Sumerians to explore abstract thought. Beyond counting and transactions, they recorded hymns, prayers, and literary works, capturing not just the physical world but also ideas, emotions, and imagination. Picture a scribe inscribing a hymn to Inanna or Enlil, the soft marks in clay echoing the reverent tone of the text. These writings carry beauty, meaning, and reflection, allowing human thought to transcend the limitations of time and space. In the calm act of recording, Sumerians created a bridge between the tangible and the intangible, preserving both practical knowledge and the richness of human experience. The preservation of knowledge through writing also nurtured continuity across generations. Imagine a student centuries later, holding a clay tablet inscribed by ancestors, reading the same symbols and learning the same lessons. Writing allows human memory to extend beyond individual lifetimes, creating a quiet, enduring connection between past, present, and future. Through patient observation, repetition, and meticulous recording, Sumerians ensured that their insights, achievements, and stories would survive, shaping the lives of those who came after. As night falls over the city, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates clay tablets drying in the workshops and archives. The scribes rest, the markets quiet, and the streets of your Uruk grow still. Yet the power of writing endures. Each tablet, etched with care and intention, carries a weight of knowledge, commerce, law, and culture. The rhythm of life, guided by these quiet inscriptions, continues with calm precision, allowing civilization to thrive and flourish. Through writing and record-keeping, the Sumerians learned patience, clarity, and foresight. They discovered the profound power of documenting thought, creating systems that supported trade, governance, education, and culture. Writing transformed ephemeral human activity into enduring knowledge, linking people across time and space, and ensuring that civilization could grow on a foundation of understanding, continuity, and calm observation. In this gentle, deliberate practice, we see the enduring legacy of Sumer, a civilization quietly shaping the future, one carefully inscribed tablet at a time. In the soft, fertile plains of Sumer, where the gentle flow of the Tigris and Euphrates nourished the land, cities rose slowly and deliberately from the earth. Life in these cities was shaped not only by water, fields, and trade, but also by the careful, deliberate art of architecture and urban planning. Every street, every canal, and every building reflected thoughtful observation, patient labor, and a desire to harmonize human activity with the rhythms of nature. Architecture in Sumer was not merely functional. It was an expression of culture, stability, and order, quietly guiding the lives of the people who live within the city's walls. Imagine walking along the streets of Ur or Uruk at dawn, the first soft light illuminating mud brick houses and low walls. Narrow alleyways wind gently through neighborhoods, leading to open plazas and marketplaces, while canals run parallel to streets, carrying water for irrigation and daily use. The city feels calm, measured, and deliberate, as if every building, pathway, and canal has been placed with intention. Sumerian urban planners understood that a city is not just a collection of structures. It is a living, breathing organism, requiring balance, accessibility, and harmony between human activity and the environment. The earliest homes were modest, made from sun-dried mud bricks, their thick walls providing insulation against heat and cold. Families lived in small clusters, often around a central courtyard that served as both a private space and a communal area for daily activities. Imagine a family tending to small animals or weaving baskets in the courtyard, the sounds of quiet conversation and soft laughter drifting through the morning air. Even in these simple homes, we see the Sumerians' attention to comfort, privacy, and practicality, reflecting a culture that valued careful observation and thoughtful design. Urban planning extended beyond individual homes to the organization of neighborhoods, streets, and public spaces. Planners considered the flow of water, the alignment of streets, and the accessibility of markets, temples, and public buildings. Imagine a planner walking along a partially built street, measuring the width carefully, noting the angle of the canal, and observing the movement of people. Each decision is deliberate, ensuring that the city functions efficiently while maintaining a calm, harmonious atmosphere. The layout of a city reflects a subtle balance between utility and beauty, practicality and order. Temples and ziggurats were the crowning achievements of Sumerian architecture. Rising above the city, these structures were both religious centers and symbols of civic identity. Imagine a ziggurat catching the first rays of sunlight, its step levels carefully constructed with mud bricks, its walls aligned with cosmic patterns. The process of building such a monumental structure required careful planning, coordination, and observation, from selecting the site to shaping each brick. These buildings were not only functional spaces for worship, but also enduring statements of human skill, patience, and connection to the divine. Public spaces, including marketplaces and plazas, were designed to encourage interaction, commerce, and community life. Imagine merchants setting up stalls along a broad avenue, neighbors greeting each other warmly, and children playing near the canals. The layout ensures that trade flows smoothly, water is easily accessible, and people can move about without congestion or conflict. In this way, architecture and urban planning create a rhythm to city life, gently guiding movement, activity, and social interaction in a way that feels natural and calming. Canals were essential to both urban planning and daily life. Carefully engineered to distribute water from the rivers to fields, homes, and public spaces, canals allowed cities to thrive in an otherwise arid landscape. Imagine a quiet canal reflecting the soft morning light, its water flowing steadily toward a cluster of homes and fields. Maintenance was ongoing, requiring careful observation and collaboration among citizens. These waterways are not only practical, they bring life, calm, and rhythm to the city, supporting agriculture, hygiene, and social cohesion. Even the smallest details of Sumerian architecture reflect thoughtful observation and creativity. Roofs were flat or gently sloped to collect rainwater. Steps and terraces provided access to different levels, and brick patterns offer both stability and subtle beauty. Imagine a craftsman pressing each brick into place, adjusting its alignment, and ensuring that walls are both strong and harmonious. The soft repetition of this work creates a rhythm a quiet meditation, and a sense of enduring craftsmanship that sustains a city for generations. Architecture also incorporated social and cultural considerations. Buildings were arranged to reflect hierarchy, religious practice, and communal priorities. Temples occupied central positions, administrative buildings were accessible, and neighborhoods were designed for safety and comfort. Imagine citizens moving through the city, aware of the layout and subtly guided by it, feeling both secure and connected. The city itself becomes a living teacher, instructing inhabitants in balance, order, and the relationship between human activity and environment. The practice of urban planning encouraged foresight, patience, and collaboration. Architects and planners observed the land, measured distances, and considered the needs of current and future generations. Imagine a planner at sunset, reviewing a map etched on clay, tracing the paths of streets, and envisioning how the city will function in years to come. These thoughtful decisions quietly shaped the lives of countless individuals, creating a calm, structured environment that supports work, culture, and community life. Even ordinary citizens participated in the rhythms created by architecture. Farmers carried grain through planned streets to marketplaces, children played in open courtyards, and families gathered near water channels to cook and socialize. Imagine the soft murmur of conversation blending with the gentle flow of water, the city alive with activity yet calm, deliberate, and orderly. Architecture and urban planning in Sumer were not imposed from above. They were integrated into the very fabric of daily life, guiding movement, activity, and social interaction with subtle grace. As night falls, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates streets, homes, and temples, casting gentle shadows across mud-brick walls and reflecting in calm canals. The city rests, yet its careful design continues to guide life. Each street, building, and public space stands as a testament to patient observation, thoughtful planning, and the enduring value of balance and harmony. In this serene landscape, we see how Sumerian architecture and urban planning quietly shaped human experience, blending practicality, aesthetics, and cultural meaning into a cohesive whole. Through their innovations in architecture and urban planning, the Sumerians taught us the value of foresight, observation, and harmony. They created cities that were functional, beautiful, and nurturing, reflecting the rhythms of daily life and the needs of society. Each structure, canal, and street carries a subtle wisdom, guiding inhabitants calmly and purposefully. Architecture becomes more than construction. It is a gentle framework for civilization, quietly supporting the growth of culture, knowledge, and community, and leaving a legacy that continues to inspire generations. In the gentle cities of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates flow silently through the fertile land, life was shaped not only by agriculture, trade, and architecture, but also by a quieter, more contemplative force, art. In the calm spaces of workshops and temples, craftsmen and artists transform clay, stone, and metal into objects of beauty and meaning. Sculpture, reliefs, and figurines quietly capture the rhythms of everyday life, the reverence of the divine, and the imagination of a people seeking to understand their world. Art in Sumer was not merely decorative, it was a thoughtful reflection of culture, belief, and human experience, quietly influencing how people saw themselves and their surroundings. Imagine a sculptor kneeling on the soft earth, a lump of clay before him. With gentle hands, he begins to shape a small figure, carefully smoothing its contours and pressing in fine details. Each curve and line reflects patient observation, the tilt of a head, the position of hands, the expression on a face. These small gestures carry meaning, conveying emotion, status, and devotion. The act of creating art is deliberate, meditative, and deeply connected to both the material and the imagination. In these quiet moments, the sculptor's hands bridge the tangible and intangible, shaping both clay and the perception of the world around him. Sumerian art often depicted humans and deities in ways that emphasized devotion, reverence, and order. Statues of gods and goddesses were placed in temples, standing as silent witnesses to worship and ritual. Imagine a small statue of Inanna, goddess of love and war, its finely carved features illuminated by the soft glow of an oil lamp. Worshippers approach, bowing with quiet respect, leaving offerings and prayers. The statue, though still, embodies both spiritual presence and human craftsmanship, guiding the rhythm of religious life with subtle, enduring authority. Art also celebrated everyday life and social roles. Reliefs and figurines depict farmers tending fields, craftsmen at work, and musicians performing in communal spaces. Imagine a clay relief showing a scribe seated carefully at a table, stylus in hand, while children watch attentively from the side. These depictions capture not only the physical actions but also the calm rhythm of daily activity, providing a quiet record of social structure and cultural values. Art, in this way, preserves memory, communicates ideals, and gently shapes how people perceive their community and their place within it. Materials played a significant role in Sumerian artistic expression. Clay, stone, and metal were carefully selected, each offering unique possibilities for texture, durability, and detail. Imagine an artisan choosing a smooth piece of alabaster for a delicate carving or mixing pigments to paint a small ceramic figurine. The tactile experience of shaping these materials encourages mindfulness and patience, a quiet engagement with a substance that allows creativity to flourish. Each piece, shaped with care, becomes a vessel for meaning and beauty, quietly influencing the world it inhabits. The process of creating art in Sumer was deliberate and reflective. Sculptors, painters, and metalworkers observed natural forms, human gestures, and spiritual concepts, translating them into enduring objects. Imagine a workshop at dusk, the soft sounds of gentle hammering, scraping, and brushing blending with the quiet murmur of the city beyond. Apprentices watch and learn, absorbing not only technical skill but also the calm patience and thoughtful observation required to produce works of enduring beauty. Art becomes a vehicle for teaching, memory, and cultural continuity, passed down quietly from one generation to the next. Art was also intertwined with ritual and ceremony. Figurines, reliefs, and votive objects were often offered in temples as expressions of devotion or gratitude. Imagine a worshipper placing a small clay figure on an altar, the smooth surface cool under their fingers, the act itself meditative and deliberate. Through these objects, the divine and human realms connect, creating a quiet, contemplative space where belief, craft, and cultural expression intertwine. Art in Sumer thus serves both practical and spiritual purposes, guiding daily and ritual life in subtle, profound ways. Storytelling through art was another essential aspect of Sumerian creativity. Reliefs and carvings often depicted myths, historical events, and heroic deeds. Imagine a low relief showing Gilgamesh in the midst of a journey, his figure carved with care, the details capturing movement, emotion, and narrative tension. Viewers could engage with these visual stories, reflecting on the lessons, values, and cultural ideals they conveyed. In this way, sculpture becomes a silent storyteller, offering wisdom, memory, and inspiration to all who encounter it. Even small, everyday objects bore artistic significance. Jewelry, vessels, and tools were decorated with patterns, symbols, and inscriptions. Imagine a simple clay bowl adorned with intricate geometric motifs, each line pressed with steady hands and deliberate care. Such details elevate ordinary objects, infusing them with beauty, meaning, and identity. These subtle forms of art quietly shape human experience, influencing aesthetic sensibilities and fostering a sense of harmony in everyday life. Art also encouraged observation, reflection, and imagination. Sculptors studied anatomy, posture, and proportion, translating observation into form. Relief artists captured movement, emotion, and interaction. Even in creating abstract or symbolic motifs, artists engaged deeply with ideas, patterns, and rhythm. Imagine an artisan pausing to observe the play of sunlight across the river, letting the gentle movement inspire a flowing motif on a ceramic plate. Through this quiet engagement, art nurtures mindfulness, patience, and a deeper understanding of the world. As night falls over Sumerian cities, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates workshops and temple alcoves, casting long, gentle shadows over statues and reliefs. The streets grow quiet, and the sounds of daily life fade into the calm hum of the evening. Yet the influence of art endures. Every sculpture, figurine, and decorative object continues to communicate meaning, guide ritual, and preserve memory. Art in Sumer is both a reflection of civilization and a subtle, pervasive force that shapes human experience, culture, and understanding. Through their innovations in art and sculpture, the Sumerians taught us the value of patience, observation, and reverence of both the physical and the spiritual world. They transformed clay, stone, and metal into objects that endure, quietly influencing human thought, devotion, and aesthetic sensibility. Each brushstroke, carving, or mold figure carries intention, skill, and insight, connecting human creativity to cultural memory and shared experience. In this gentle, deliberate practice, Sumerian art becomes a timeless testament to the harmony between human imagination, craftsmanship, and the rhythms of everyday life, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire reflection, calm, and wonder. In the quiet, fertile valleys of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates flow slowly through the land, life thrived on careful observation and subtle order. Beyond the rhythm of farming, trade, and craft, the Sumerians discovered another quiet yet powerful force that would shape their civilization: mathematics. In this calm pursuit, numbers were not merely symbols. They were tools to understand the world, measure resources, and create harmony in daily life. Mathematics and measurement became the hidden framework that allowed Sumerian society to grow steadily, predictably, and gracefully, like the gentle flow of the rivers that nourish the land. Imagine a scribe seated at a low wooden table, a soft clay tablet before them. Using a sharpened reed stylus, they carefully press wedge-shaped symbols into the clay, recording numbers that correspond to grain, land, or labor. These numbers are precise, deliberate, and quiet, capturing information that will guide farmers, traders, and city planners. Each mark represents not only a quantity but also understanding, foresight, and a subtle effort to impose clarity on the complexity of daily life. Through this practice, mathematics quietly structures human activity, creating stability and trust across generations. Sumerian mathematics began with practical needs. Farmers needed to measure fields accurately, merchants required calculations for trade, and rulers needed records to organize labor and resources. Imagine a farmer carefully pacing the boundary of a rectangular field, counting steps and marking lengths with a reed. These measurements allow them to calculate areas for planting, ensuring that seeds are distributed efficiently and that harvests can be predicted. In this quiet, deliberate practice, numbers become more than abstract concepts. They are tools to harmonize human activity with nature. The Sumerians developed a sophisticated number system based on the sexagesimal or base 60 system. Imagine a group of merchants in the marketplace, exchanging grain and livestock, calculating prices and quantities using multiples of 60. This system allows for precision in fractions, timekeeping, and geometry, providing a flexible and reliable framework for calculation. Through patient observation and repeated practice, Sumerians mastered arithmetic that underpins trade, construction, and governance, all quietly supporting the smooth functioning of society. Mathematics was closely intertwined with trade and economy. Merchants used numbers to weigh goods, calculate prices, and record transactions. Imagine a trader balancing silver against grain on a set of scales, then using a tablet to note the precise amount exchanged. These calculations, recorded carefully, ensured fairness and transparency, fostering trust and stability in commercial interactions. The calm, methodical approach to numbers reflected the broader Sumerian ethos of careful observation, deliberate action, and orderly progress. Measurement extended beyond trade into architecture and urban planning. Builders needed accurate calculations to construct homes, temples, and ziggurats. Imagine a master architect calculating the dimensions of a wall, the slope of a roof, or the spacing of columns, using both numbers and intuition honed through experience. Every measurement is deliberate, ensuring strength, stability, and harmony within the city. Through mathematics, abstract numbers become practical tools that shape physical space, guiding human activity with quiet precision. Mathematics also played a vital role in astronomy and the calendar. Observing the movement of the sun, moon, and stars, Sumerians used numerical systems to predict seasonal changes, festival dates, and agricultural cycles. Imagine a priest or astronomer carefully noting the position of the moon along the horizon, recording observations on a clay tablet, and calculating the days until the next planting season. In these subtle calculations, mathematics becomes a bridge between the observable world and human planning, offering foresight and calm predictability. Even in daily life, numbers guided decisions and habits. Grain was measured for rationing, workers' time was allocated, and resources were divided according to careful calculations. Imagine a family dividing harvested barley among different purposes, referencing the weights and measures recorded by the scribe. Mathematics quietly ensures fairness order, and efficiency, creating a sense of balance that pervades both public and private life. Every act of counting, measuring, or calculating reinforces a calm rhythm of civilization. Mathematics also encouraged abstract thinking and problem-solving. Scribes and scholars worked with complex calculations, geometry, and early algebraic concepts. Imagine a student tracing geometric patterns on a clay tablet, discovering relationships between shapes, areas, and numbers. This practice nurtured observation, reasoning, and a subtle intellectual curiosity. In the quiet of study, numbers become a medium for understanding the world, teaching patience, logic, and the interconnectedness of ideas. The Sumerian approach to mathematics demonstrates the power of observation, precision, and incremental progress. Each calculation, no matter how small, reflects careful thought and foresight. Numbers are tools for understanding relationships between people, resources, time, and space. Imagine a scribe reviewing a tablet of calculations at dusk, ensuring that every entry aligns with reality, knowing that accurate measurement sustains agriculture, trade, and governance. In this quiet diligence, we see mathematics as both practical and contemplative, shaping life with calm consistency. As night falls, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates workshops, scribes' tables, and fields prepared for measurement. The quiet rhythm of calculation and observation continues in the recorded tablets, guiding farmers, traders, builders, and rulers alike. Mathematics, though silent and abstract, becomes an enduring foundation of civilization, structuring activity, supporting progress, and ensuring that human effort flows with harmony and precision. Through their innovations in mathematics and measurement, the Sumerians discovered the value of precision, foresight, and careful observation. They used numbers to organize resources, plan cities, trade fairly, and understand the natural world. Mathematics quietly transformed civilization, providing the tools to balance human activity with the rhythms of nature, to predict outcomes, and to preserve continuity across generations. In the calm practice of counting, measuring, and calculating, we see a civilization shaping its world thoughtfully, patiently, and deliberately, leaving a legacy that continues to inform and inspire. In the serene plains of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates meander quietly through fertile fields, life was deeply connected to the rhythms of nature. Farmers relied on seasonal changes, merchants observed the ebb and flow of trade, and city planners monitored water and resources. Yet beyond the visible, tangible world, the Sumerians also turned their gaze skyward, discovering another quiet yet profound force that would guide their civilization: astronomy. By observing the stars, moon, and sun, and by recording their movements with meticulous care, they developed calendars that structured time, organized life, and provided a gentle framework for society. Astronomy and calendars became invisible threads weaving together the practical, spiritual, and cultural life of Sumer, allowing people to navigate both the heavens and the earth with calm precision. Imagine a priest or scholar standing on a raised platform at dusk, the soft glow of lanterns illuminating a clay tablet nearby. As the evening sky slowly darkens above, stars begin to emerge, scattered across the velvet canopy, while the crescent moon glows softly on the horizon. With quiet attention, the observer notes the positions of celestial bodies, recording each detail carefully on clay tablets. These observations, though subtle and meditative, form the foundation of Sumerian astronomy, allowing patterns in the sky to be recognized and used to guide life on the ground. In this deliberate act of watching and recording, humans connect with the rhythms of the cosmos, translating its vastness into practical knowledge and enduring wisdom. Sumerian astronomy began with practical necessity. Farmers needed to know when to plant and harvest, merchants required guidance for trading seasons, and priests sought auspicious dates for rituals and festivals. Imagine a farmer consulting the rising of a particular star in the pre-dawn sky, recognizing that it signals the start of planting season. These subtle cues, observed patiently over years, become essential guide to survival and prosperity. The sky, with its regular movements and patterns, provides a calm, reliable reference point in an otherwise changing and unpredictable world. The Sumerians recorded these observations meticulously using cuneiform script on clay tablets. Each mark represented not only a numerical record, but also a link between the celestial and terrestrial realms. Imagine a scribe carefully noting the phases of the moon, the alignment of stars, or the shifting position of constellations across the seasons. These tablets, preserved for future reference, allowed society to track time with remarkable accuracy, providing continuity and structure. Through the quiet diligence of observation and recording, astronomy became a tool to harmonize human life with the cosmic rhythm. Calendars were developed from these observations, dividing the year into months and seasons based on the lunar cycle and agricultural needs. Imagine a priest charting the months, marking important festivals, planting and harvesting periods, and recording them in a neat sequence on a clay tablet. Each month, each day, is carefully aligned with natural and celestial events, creating a gentle, predictable rhythm for society. The calendar allows communities to coordinate activities, plan resources, and celebrate cultural and religious events, all in harmony with the movement of the heavens. Sumerian calendars were closely tied to religious practice. Many festivals and ceremonies were scheduled according to celestial events, linking human activity with divine cycles. Imagine worshippers gathering in a temple courtyard during the rising of a particular star, their movements and rituals synchronized with cosmic patterns. This connection between the sky and spiritual life reflects the Sumerians' understanding of the universe as a balanced, interconnected system, where celestial observation provides guidance, stability, and a sense of meaning. Astronomy also influenced navigation and trade. The regular positions of stars and constellations helped travelers and merchants orient themselves during journeys along rivers and overland. Imagine a trader on a calm riverboat, using the stars to maintain direction as the gentle waters carry them to distant cities. The knowledge of the heavens provides both practical guidance and reassurance, ensuring that commerce, communication, and cultural exchange flow smoothly and predictably. Beyond practicality, Sumerian astronomy encouraged intellectual curiosity and abstract thinking. Scholars developed geometric models to understand planetary movements, predicted lunar and solar cycles, and explored patterns in the heavens. Imagine a young apprentice observing the motion of Venus across the sky, comparing it with records from previous years, and beginning to see the subtle cycles that govern celestial behavior. This quiet study nurtures patience, observation, and reasoning, showing that understanding the cosmos is not only practical but also deeply reflective, inspiring awe and contemplation. The practice of recording and analyzing celestial events cultivated foresight and precision. Accurate predictions of seasons, lunar cycles, and celestial phenomena allowed society to plan agricultural cycles, allocate resources, and prepare for festivals with confidence. Imagine the city preparing for a harvest festival based on months of careful observation, the timing ensuring plentiful crops, smooth distribution, and communal celebration. Through these careful calculations, astronomy and calendars quietly structure life, creating a rhythm that harmonizes human activity with nature and the cosmos. Even everyday life was subtly guided by these celestial observations. Farmers planted and harvested with the moon, priests performed rituals at auspicious times, and citizens marked the passage of months with festivals and offerings. Imagine families preparing for a seasonal celebration, aware that the alignment of stars and moon has set the day for gathering, sharing, and reflecting. In these quiet, deliberate actions, the cosmos becomes intertwined with human experience, offering both practical guidance and a sense of connection to the larger universe. The influence of Sumerian astronomy extended across generations. Knowledge was recorded, preserved, and transmitted through clay tablets, ensuring continuity in observation, calculation, and interpretation. Imagine a student centuries later studying the same tablets, tracing the paths of stars, and understanding the cycles that govern ancient life. This continuity connects the past to the present, allowing wisdom to endure and providing a calm, structured framework for navigating time, space, and human activity. As night falls over Sumerian cities, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates workshops, temples, and observatories. The stars continue their silent passage across the sky, casting a gentle light on the earth below. The records of past observations lie in tablets, guiding farmers, traders, priests, and city planners alike. Astronomy and calendars, though invisible in daily bustle, quietly orchestrate the rhythm of civilization, ensuring that human life flows in harmony with the vast, enduring patterns of the cosmos. Through their innovations in astronomy and calendars, the Sumerians learned patience, observation, and foresight. They discovered how to read the sky, anticipate change, and harmonize human activity with natural cycles. This knowledge nurtured agriculture, guided trade, structured festivals, and provided a quiet sense of connection between terrestrial and celestial worlds. In the gentle practice of observing, recording, and calculating, Sumerians shaped not only their understanding of the cosmos, but also the rhythm, order, and continuity of civilization itself, leaving a legacy of calm insight and enduring wisdom. In the quiet streets and sunlit homes of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates meandered gently through fertile lands, life unfolded in delicate rhythms. Amidst the fields, workshops, and markets, another quiet and essential aspect of civilization was quietly emerging: medicine. The Sumerians observed the human body, the natural world, and the subtle connections between health, environment, and spirit. Healing was not merely a matter of treating symptoms. It was a careful practice of observation, patience, and understanding. Medicine in Sumer combined practical remedies, spiritual rituals, and preventive care, creating a calm, holistic approach to well-being that touched every corner of daily life. Imagine a healer seated on a low mat in a quiet room, clay tablets and herb bundles arranged neatly nearby. Their hands moved deliberately, examining a patient's pulse, noting the tone of their voice, and observing subtle signs in posture, skin, and eyes. Every observation is patient, every action deliberate. The Sumerian healer sought to understand the body not in isolation, but as part of a larger system, connected to the environment, diet, and spiritual balance. This careful attention to detail reflects the thoughtful, methodical nature of Sumerian medicine, a gentle, reflective approach that prioritizes observation and understanding over haste or speculation. Herbal remedies form the foundation of Sumerian medicine. Plants, roots, seeds, and flowers were carefully gathered, dried, and prepared into pastes, decoctions, and ointments. Imagine a healer grinding a handful of crushed herbs with a smooth stone, inhaling the faint, calming aroma as they carefully mix it into a soft paste. Each herb was chosen for its properties, guided by careful observation over generations. Some plants soothed pain or inflammation, others addressed digestive issues, and certain combinations were thought to restore balance to the body's energies. In the gentle preparation and administration of these remedies, we see patience, knowledge, and a deep connection with nature. In addition to herbs, minerals, and natural substances played an important role in healing. Clay, salt, bitumen, and other elements were used in poultices, salves, and cleansing rituals. Imagine a healer carefully blending powdered minerals with water, shaping them into a cooling paste to apply to a wound. The Sumerians believed that these substances could help restore balance and promote recovery, reflecting an understanding of the physical and symbolic properties of natural materials. Every application is deliberate, supporting both the body and the mind in the process of healing. Spirituality and ritual were closely intertwined with medicine. Illness was often seen as a result of imbalance, divine displeasure, or the influence of spirits. Imagine a healer chanting softly while applying a poultice, burning incense nearby, and guiding the patient through calming words and gestures. These rituals were designed to align body, mind, and spirit, creating a sense of order and calm in the face of physical or emotional distress. Healing was thus a holistic practice, combining observation, preparation, and ritual into a seamless, gentle process. Sumerians also developed early surgical techniques, practiced with careful attention and precision. Small incisions, drainage of abscesses, and the treatment of injuries were conducted with tools made from metal, sharpened stone, or bone. Imagine a healer gently cleaning a wound, using steady hands and soft words to calm both patient and practitioner. Surgery was approached cautiously and respectfully, guided by observation, experience, and profound awareness of the body's resilience. These interventions, though simple by modern standards, reflect an extraordinary attention to detail and patience, a quiet understanding of cause and effect, and a gentle reverence for life. Diagnosis was an art of careful observation and record-keeping. Healers examined symptoms, patterns, and timing, sometimes consulting written records or divination tablets to understand the nature of an ailment. Imagine a scribe assisting a healer, carefully recording symptoms and treatments on clay tablets, creating a repository of knowledge that could guide future practice. In this way, medicine becomes both practical and contemplative, a quiet accumulation of insight across generations, ensuring continuity and refinement in the understanding of human health. Preventive care was also central to Sumerian medicine. Hygiene, diet, and daily routines were observed and advised to maintain balance and prevent illness. Imagine families boiling water, washing hands, and following recommended diets, guided by the calm, informed advice of healers. These practices create a rhythm of life that protects, sustains, and nurtures, reflecting an understanding that well-being is maintained not only through treatment but through thoughtful, consistent care. Healing extended to mental and emotional well-being as well. Sumerians recognized the connection between stress, emotions, and physical health. Imagine a patient sitting quietly, guided by a healer in gentle breathing, soft words, and calming rituals. Music, chanting, and reflection was sometimes used to soothe the mind, promoting a sense of balance that enhanced the body's natural ability to recover. In these quiet practices, medicine blends observation, empathy, and mindfulness, supporting the whole person in a calm, nurturing way. Apprentices learn the art of medicine through observation, repetition, and careful practice. Imagine a young student sitting beside a master healer, watching the preparation of remedies, the careful palpation of the body, and the administration of treatments. Each action is slow, deliberate, and deliberate again, emphasizing patience, precision, and attentive care. Through this mentorship, knowledge is passed on, refined, and preserved, creating a legacy of healing wisdom that quietly sustains civilization. As night falls over the Sumerian city, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates healing spaces, herb workshops, and quiet households. The rhythms of daily life settle, yet the principles of medicine remain present, guiding thought, practice, and care. Each herb, each poultice, each observation carries the imprint of careful attention, experience, and gentle intention. Sumerian medicine, rooted in observation, ritual, and practical knowledge, quietly nurtures human life, blending the physical and spiritual in a harmonious, enduring practice. Through their innovations in medicine and healing, the Sumerians taught the value of patience, observation, and holistic care. They developed remedies from nature, guided by careful observation, and integrated ritual, hygiene, and preventive practices into daily life. Healing became an art that embraced the body, mind, and spirit, creating a calm, reflective, and sustaining system of care. In this gentle practice, Sumerians shaped not only human health, but also the rhythm, balance, and continuity of their civilization, leaving a legacy of thoughtful, nurturing wisdom that continues to inspire reflection and care. In the quiet, sunlit cities of Sumer, life flowed gently along the banks of the Tigris and Euphrates. Families tended their fields, merchants moved along canals, and artisans shaped clay and metal into useful objects. Amidst these daily rhythms, another vital force shaped the civilization quietly and steadily: education. In Sumer, learning was not a hurried or superficial activity. It was deliberate, patient, and immersive, designed to pass knowledge, culture, and practical skills from one generation to the next. Knowledge transmission formed the invisible backbone of society, connecting scribes, artisans, priests, and ordinary citizens to the accumulated wisdom of centuries. Imagine a young student sitting cross-legged on a mat in a sunlit room, a soft clay tablet in front of them, and a reed stylus poised carefully in hand. The room is quiet except for the gentle scratch of stylus on clay as the student traces symbols and numbers. These early learners are practicing cuneiform, the writing system that will allow them to record commerce, law, stories, and ritual. The process is slow and deliberate, emphasizing repetition, precision, and observation. In these quiet exercises, students are not merely learning to write. They are learning the rhythm of thought, the patience of study, and the discipline of careful observation. Education in Sumer was often tied to practical skills essential for life and society. Students learn mathematics, accounting, trade, and law, preparing them to contribute to the city's daily functioning. Imagine a student calculating quantities of grain or noting the dimensions of a building, carefully following the instructions of a master scribe. Every calculation, every line traced on clay, reinforces both competence and confidence, creating a sense of order and mastery. This practical knowledge, transmitted through careful teaching and patient practice, ensures the smooth functioning of civilization while quietly nurturing the young mind. Sumerian education was closely linked to the temple and the scribal schools known as adubas. These institutions provided structured environments for learning, where students studied under experienced teachers. Imagine a classroom filled with attentive pupils, each working at their own clay tablet, copying texts or performing calculations under the watchful eyes of a teacher. The atmosphere is calm and focused, with soft murmurs of repetition and occasional gentle guidance. The environment fosters concentration, discipline, and respect for knowledge, allowing learning to unfold naturally and serenely. Transmission of knowledge was not limited to technical skills. Students also learned literature, myths, and religious texts, gaining insight into culture, ethics, and spirituality. Imagine a young scribe carefully copying the Epic of Gilgamesh, absorbing its stories of heroism, friendship, and mortality. Each tablet preserves not only the words but also the rhythm, tone, and cultural values embedded in the text. Through careful copying, reflection, and memorization, students internalize lessons, gaining wisdom that extends far beyond practical skills. Knowledge becomes a living continuum, linking generations in a calm, enduring flow. Apprenticeship was another key method of learning. Craftsmen, healers, and artisans passed down skills through observation and guided practice. Imagine a young potter sitting beside a master, feeling the clay's texture, watching the shaping of a vessel, and then attempting the process themselves. Each movement is slow, deliberate, and attentive, ensuring that the skill is internalized through careful repetition. Apprenticeship nurtures observation, patience, and creativity, allowing both technical mastery and thoughtful engagement with the material world. Oral instruction complemented written records. Teachers would recite poems, prayers, hymns, and stories, while students listened attentively, repeating phrases and committing them to memory. Imagine a student softly chanting alongside a teacher, the cadence of the words creating a gentle rhythm that aids recall and comprehension. This combination of oral and written transmission ensures that knowledge is preserved and understood holistically, engaging both memory and critical observation, and embedding learning deeply in the mind. Knowledge transmission was also carefully documented. Clay tablets recorded not only lessons and calculations, but also administrative procedures, medical remedies, and astronomical observations. Imagine a student copying a medical tablet, noting the ingredients, methods, and timing of treatments. Each record, though small, contributes to a vast accumulation of wisdom, ensuring continuity across generations. The act of writing itself is meditative, reinforcing precision, reflection, and calm engagement with ideas. Sumerian education encouraged moral and ethical development alongside practical competence. Students learn the laws, social norms, and values that govern the city, fostering responsibility, fairness, and community-mindedness. Imagine a scribe contemplating the instructions of Hammurabi's predecessor's laws, considering the fairness of a judgment or the implications of transaction. Education in this sense nurtures not only skill but judgment, patience, and empathy, creating citizens capable of sustaining a balanced and harmonious society. The role of repetition and slow practice cannot be overstated. Students practice the same symbols, calculations, and passages repeatedly, gradually internalizing knowledge until it became second nature. Imagine the quiet repetition of a dozen students, each engaged in their own rhythm of copying or calculating, the gentle scratching of stylus on clay creating a calm, almost meditative background. Through patience, focus, and gradual mastery, the Sumerians cultivated both competence and resilience, preparing their youth for the responsibilities of adulthood. Even daily life reinforced learning. Family members, neighbors, and community elders contributed to the ongoing transmission of knowledge through conversation, demonstration, and guidance. Imagine a young apprentice observing the weighing of grain in the market, or listening to elders recount seasonal rituals and agricultural timing. Knowledge is not confined to the classroom or temple. It flows through everyday interactions, quietly shaping understanding, judgment, and skill in the next generation. As night falls over Sumerian cities, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates the clay tablets, classrooms, and workshops where learning has taken place. Students rest, teachers review their notes, and the city grows quiet. Yet the knowledge they have absorbed continues to shape thought, decision-making, and practice. Education and knowledge transmission, though often invisible, quietly form the backbone of civilization, ensuring continuity, stability, and growth. Through their innovations in education and the careful transmission of knowledge, the Sumerians taught us the value of patience, observation, and deliberate practice. They cultivated skill, wisdom, and ethical understanding through repetition, mentorship, and careful recording. Knowledge became both practical and cultural, linking generations in a calm, enduring flow that nurtured the individual and society alike. In the quiet, meditative rhythms of Sumerian learning, we see the foundations of civilization patiently built and thoughtfully preserved, leaving a legacy of wisdom, calm, and continuity that continues to inspire. In the fertile valleys of Sumer, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers flowed gently, life unfolded in rhythms guided by nature, labor, and the steady movement of water and wind. Alongside agriculture, craft, and culture, another quiet yet powerful force shaped Sumerian civilization: trade and economy. From the smallest clay token to bustling marketplaces, the exchange of goods, ideas, and resources allowed cities to flourish, connecting communities, fostering cooperation, and nurturing the rhythms of daily life. Trade was not merely commerce. It was a careful orchestration of observation, calculation, and trust, guiding society with subtle precision. Imagine a marketplace at dawn, the soft light spilling across mud brick streets. Merchants arrange their wares, small baskets of grain, clay pots, woven textiles, and fragrant herbs. The quiet clink of scales, the gentle murmur of conversation, and the rhythmic footsteps of buyers create a calm, measured ambience. Each transaction, though seemingly simple, reflects careful observation, calculation, and negotiation. Traders rely on precise weights, measured volumes, and known values to exchange goods fairly, fostering trust and stability. In this way, commerce is not merely an economic activity but a gentle system of order, rhythm, and mutual respect. Sumerian trade extended far beyond the local marketplace. Merchants traveled along rivers, canals, and overland routes, connecting cities across the Fertile Crescent and beyond. Imagine a trader on a quiet riverboat at sunrise, transporting clay jars of oil or bundles of grain, navigating by observation of the river's flow and the sun's position. Each journey required careful planning, measurement, and risk assessment. Trade was both practical and contemplative, understanding supply and demand, predicting seasons, and ensuring goods arrived safely required attention, patience, and subtle calculation. Trade encouraged specialization and innovation. Artisans, potters, weavers, and metalworkers produced goods not only for local use but for distant exchange. Imagine a potter shaping fine vessels, knowing that their work will travel to neighboring cities or distant lands. Each piece is carefully crafted to meet functional and aesthetic standards, reflecting skill, observation, and pride. The act of producing goods for trade nurtures both creativity and discipline, linking local labor with wider economic networks in a calm, deliberate rhythm. Economy in Sumer was closely tied to record-keeping and early accounting. Tokens, clay tablets, and cuneiform inscriptions documented transactions, quantities, and agreements. Imagine a scribe sitting quietly at a table, using a stylus to record the delivery of grain or silver. Each mark ensures clarity, fairness, and continuity, creating a system that balances human activity with the flow of resources. Accounting, though subtle and often unseen, forms a backbone of economic life, allowing trade and production to function smoothly and predictably. Markets were designed with careful thought, reflecting social and economic organization. Imagine a square where merchants gather in orderly rows, buyers moving between stalls, and canals providing water for commerce and daily use. The layout allows efficient movement, reduces congestion, and fosters trust between sellers and buyers. Trade becomes a calm, rhythmic dance, guided by both practical design and social convention. Every element, from placement of stalls to the flow of goods, creates harmony, blending economic necessity with the quiet beauty of structure. Long-distance trade brought exotic goods, ideas, and cultural influence. Sumerians exchanged grain, wool, and craft for timber, stone, precious metals, and gemstones from distant lands. Imagine a caravan of traders arriving from the mountains with timber and copper, greeted with careful inspection and measured exchange. These interactions introduced new materials, techniques, and knowledge, fostering innovation and cultural enrichment. Trade was therefore a bridge between regions, subtly weaving together disparate communities in a calm, interconnected network. The Sumerian economy relied on both barter and standardized systems of value. Metals, particularly silver, became a common medium for trade, allowing flexible exchange across distances. Imagine a merchant weighing silver carefully on scales, balancing it against grain or oil, ensuring fairness and stability. Standardized units of measure created trust, predictability, and a quiet sense of security. In this structured approach, the economy functions as a stable, reliable rhythm, supporting both daily life and long-term prosperity. Agriculture underpinned the Sumerian economy. Surpluses of grain, dates, and other crops allowed trade to flourish, supported urban growth, and sustained specialized craftsmen. Imagine a granary quietly humming with activity, the soft sound of workers moving sacks of grain, recording quantities, and preparing shipments. The careful management of agricultural resources ensures stability, predictability, and the smooth functioning of trade networks. Agriculture and economy thus exist in harmony, each reinforcing the other, creating a calm, sustainable rhythm of civilization. Trade also reinforced social structure and cooperation. Agreements between cities, guilds of craftsmen, and merchant families created networks of trust, mutual obligation, and shared prosperity. Imagine two merchant families meeting in a quiet courtyard to negotiate terms, exchange gifts, and confirm agreements with clay seals. These subtle rituals strengthen relationships, maintain order, and allow commerce to flow smoothly across generations. In this way, trade is not merely material exchange, but a mechanism for social cohesion, trust, and continuity. Education, mathematics, and record-keeping were essential to the economy. Scribes trained in arithmetic, measurement, and cuneiform ensured accurate documentation of trade, resource allocation, and contracts. Imagine a student practicing calculations on a clay tablet, preparing to contribute to the orderly flow of commerce in the marketplace. The knowledge transmitted through education and applied in trade quietly ensures that the economy functions reliably, maintaining a gentle balance between supply, demand, and human activity. As night falls over the city, the marketplace grows quiet. Traders rest, merchants close their stalls, and the river reflects the soft light of the moon. Yet the impact of trade endures. Every transaction, every journey, and every record contributes to the steady rhythm of Sumerian civilization. Trade and economy, though often invisible in their influence, quietly orchestrate the distribution of resources, the flow of knowledge, and the balance of society. Through their innovations in trade and economy, the Sumerians taught the value of observation, precision, and patience. They created systems that allowed resources to be measured, exchanged, and recorded with calm reliability. Trade became more than commerce. It was a rhythm that connected communities, nurtured innovation, and maintained social cohesion. In the gentle practice of calculating, recording, and exchanging, the Sumerians built a civilization capable of sustaining both prosperity and culture, leaving a legacy of thoughtful, measured, and harmonious economic practice that continues to inspire. As the sun sets over the fertile plains of Sumer, the cities, canals, and ziggurats rest in quiet harmony, leaving behind a remarkable legacy that continues to shape the world. The innovations of the Sumerians, writing, mathematics, astronomy, trade, medicine, and education, remain quietly influential, their principles embedded in the rhythm of human civilization. Though the people themselves are long gone, the structures, systems, and knowledge they created continue to guide us, reflecting patience, observation, and careful thought. Writing, through cuneiform tablets, preserved not only transactions but stories, laws, and knowledge. Mathematics and measurement enabled trade, architecture, and governance, while astronomy and calendars aligned human activity with the cycles of nature. Medicine blended observation, herbal remedies, and ritual to nurture body and spirit. Trade connected cities and cultures, fostering cooperation and stability. Education and knowledge transmission ensured that wisdom, skills, and values were passed across generations, quietly sustaining the growth and continuity of civilization. The Sumerians demonstrated that progress is not built in haste but through careful, deliberate effort. Their holistic approach, balancing practical needs with spiritual, intellectual, and cultural development, created a civilization that endured and inspired. Even today, modern law, architecture, commerce, education, medicine, and scientific observation trace their roots back to the meticulous systems and methods first practiced in Mesopotamia. As night falls, the soft glow of oil lamps illuminates the quiet streets and workshops, the clay tablet preserving the knowledge of generations. The rhythm of their innovations flows gently through time, a testament to human curiosity, patience, and creativity. The Sumerians remind us that even small, thoughtful actions, recording knowledge, measuring carefully, observing the sky, healing with care, can leave an enduring imprint. In this calm reflection, we see that civilization is built not on fleeting brilliance but on steady, mindful effort. The Sumerians' legacy is a quiet guide, teaching us to observe attentively, act deliberately, and share knowledge generously. And in honoring their wisdom, we carry forward the same principles, leaving a gentle, enduring mark upon the world.